Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pariprajaka Ashtottara Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Haribol, thank you so much, Maharaj, and thank you everyone for being here for Srimad Bhagavatam class with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. It is Monday, June 26th, 2023. We are reading in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th chapter. Tonight we're starting with text number 32. And looking forward to hearing your comments and questions. And if you'd like to lead tonight's closing kirtan, please let me know. And we're very glad you could join us, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Akendra Prabhu. And thank you to all. And we're at 3:20:31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And welcome to Ravindra Swarup Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. Guhantim Vridayatmanam Nilalaka Varutinim Upalabhya Suradharma Sarve Sammumuhustriyam. Adorned with dark tresses, she hid herself, as it were, out of shyness. Upon seeing that girl, the Asuras were all infatuated with an appetite for sex. Om Jana Timirantasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Miditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Putale Swayam Rupa Kodamahyam Dapati Shapadantikam Pandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrashatam Shahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Kolpitarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're starting with verse 32. As you might recall, the demons, Lord Brahma had created demons, and while beginning his work of populating the universe, and the last set of demons he created went after him for sex. So Lord Brahma took shelter of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu said, "Cast off that body of yours." So Lord Brahma cast off his body, which Srila Sridhar Swami says means that he cast off his mentality, his subtle body. And the demons took it for a young girl and were, after that, well, here we find how they view that girl, which is what they imagined the twilight to be. The Brahma's body took the form of twilight, which the demons imagined to be a beautiful young girl. The demons said, "Aho rupam aho dharyam." Yeah. The screen has gone a little mad. Aho rupam aho dharyam aho asyana bambayah madhye kamayamananam akameva visarpati. The demons praised her. Oh, what a beauty! What rare self-control! What a budding youth! In the midst of us all who are passionately longing for her, she's moving about like one absolutely free from passion. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the demons talk under the influence of illusion created by lust. Vitarkayanto bahudha tam sandhyam pramadar kritim abhisambhavya vishrambhat karya prichan kumedha saha. Indulging in various speculations about the evening twilight, which appeared to them endowed with the form of a young woman, the wicked-minded asuras treated her with respect and fondly spoke to her as follows. Again, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, is she attracted to us or not? Is she a goddess or a human? Is she a prostitute or a woman of strict vows? In this way, they speculated. They received her properly. Abhisambhavya. Abhisambhavya. So this is what goes on. The mind becomes obsessed with the attractive features of a woman, and one starts speculating. I wonder where she's from. I wonder what kind of girl she is. I wonder if she's got a boyfriend or she doesn't have a boyfriend. I wonder whether she's noticed me. I wonder this, I wonder that. The mind just goes woo, 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 woo. One becomes intoxicated by by lust. And then here they glorify the woman. Oh, what rare self-control. What beauty. The Prabhin says, what is this rare self-control? A rare sense control. It means they're thinking, what an exceptional woman, how qualified. They might think, how aristocratic she is, how chaste her dress is, how this, how that. What fine features. She must come from a very high family, this, that. She might be an ordinary slut, but the mind can create anything. Mind can create anything. So they go on speculating in this way. That's vitarka yanto, bahuda, coming to different ideas about what this woman might be. And they're described as kumedasa, bad-minded. Okay. Kasi kasyasi rambhoru kovartastetra bhamini rupa dravana panyena durbhagano vibhadhase. Who are you, O pretty girl? Whose wife or daughter are you? And what can be the object of your appearing before us? Why do you tantalize us, unfortunate as we are, with the priceless commodity of your beauty? Purport. The mentality of the demons in being enamored by the false beauty of this material world is expressed herein. The demoniac can pay any price for the skin beauty of this material world. They work very hard all day and night, but the purpose of their hard work is to enjoy sex life. Sometimes they misrepresent themselves as karma yogis, not knowing the meaning of the word yoga. Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to act in Krishna consciousness. The person who works very hard, no matter in what occupation, and who offers the results of the work to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is called a karma yogi. So, yes, Prabhupada's comments are clear here. Okay, she says, here the demons think that she's free from passion. Is it because they are full of passion? Yeah, it just goes on and on. What the mind can create. We're full of passion, but she must be free from passion. Or the speculation could go the other way. I bet she's more passionate than we are. It's just a false appearance, just for the moment she's appearing aloof, but once she gets started, she's going to be the most passionate thing you ever met. Then whatever the mind just goes on and on and on and on, so they can create anything. Even Prabhupada sort of extends it to not just sex, but material enjoyment. So people imagine like what San Francisco is going to be like, or what Fiji is going to be like, or what Honolulu is going to be like. It's not going to be like anything special, but by mental concoction, they create something. This is really going to be great. It's just
Prabhupada named a female disciple Rambaru.
Rambaru, yes.
Yeah, preacher's wife.
Yes. Rambaru. Pretty one. And although free from passion, here they call her Bhamini, which Prabhupada renders as "O passionate one." So they're sort of falling all over themselves. They're falling all over themselves with their different ideas. I mean, what is it really? It's somebody. Is it Rudyard Kipling? A stick and a hank of hair. Let's see. think we're going to get it. I see somebody's quoted, this is the internet, a rag, a bone, a hank of hair. It's, I mean, what is it, See how she's dressed, a rag, a bone, a hank of hair. It's just a skeleton with some bone over it, some flesh over it.
Whose quote is that?
I didn't want to.
I remember it from somewhere.
Yeah, I remembered it from somewhere too. Someone can offline do the research, but that's essentially what you're getting. You're getting the material elements. What's the big deal here? But it's all Manogatam. Therefore, Krishna says, a self-realized person, Prajahati yada kaman savan parta Manogatam. The sign of a self-realized person is that he gives up all material kama, which is Manogatam, so just brought forth from the mind. Sankalpa prabhavan kama, which is born of mental speculation. Mental speculation doesn't have to mean philosophy. It just means your mind is going off somewhere, imagining what happiness there would be. Tulsi Priya says successful advertising and marketing wouldn't be possible without this propensity to fantasize. Yeah, about future enjoyment. It really is. That's what it is. It's fantasizing. I dreamed I was this. All the time. Okay, there's Vishwanath had some comments. Your beauty is a priceless artifact. It's to be sold. But instead, you give us pain. We're unfortunate and deserve to be your slaves. Binding us up, you desire to take us into your association. Or you give us pain because you do not sell your beauty. Thus we are unfortunate. So he's going into this last line here. Rupa Dravana. Rupa Dravana Panyena. Your beauty is a priceless commodity. But you're not putting it up on the market. You're holding back. You're just torturing us. And that gets us into the next thing, the whole S&M business, sadism and masochism, where people imagine that they're going to get some sort of extra by bondage and all of this kind of kinky stuff. What happiness are they going to get? But it's probably called agitating the mind for sense gratification. Just imagining this way, that way, somehow, this, that, try this, try that. Gurudas says, I work very hard, very, very hard. I deserve you, as beautiful as you are. You should be with me. I need you to complete me. If you choose me, my life is complete. Surely you must be able to see how good I am for you. However, if you choose not to be with me, then fie on you, I curse you. You're not worthy of any further attention from me. This goes on and on and on. Even the little innocents. She loves me not. She loves me not. Mind is going on and on. Praveen says, one IT professional argues with me. You unnecessarily equate everyone's goal in this world is sex. sex is one of the things we do from our list. And you take that one thing away, you won't want to work anymore. It's one of the things. It happens to Freud, Prabhupada. It was interesting, Brahmananda, Prabhu, early in the movement, he was just first very, very new devotee. He told Srila Prabhupada that one of his professors had said that Freud just sees everything as sex, that people's motivation is just sex. And Brahmananda wanted to say that there was a more spiritual sort of a background to it, and trying to be Krishna conscious. And Prabhupada totally agreed with his professor that Freud was right on that account. It's one of the things we do from our list. We buy a house, we buy a car, we buy a this, we buy a that, we buy a this, we buy. But without sex, you wouldn't do any of this. You'd live in a little shack and be happy. But from sex life, everything expands. Tell your IT friend, you be celibate for a month and come back and let's discuss the topic again. Bhagavad Gita 16.8. What's Bhagavad Gita 16.8? The divine and demonic natures, which verse? Okay, she's citing 16.8. What is 16.8? And I don't know anything about numbers. I just don't remember verse numbers. Verses but not numbers. Yeah, aparaspra sambhutam kimanve kamo. They think that lust is the be all and that is the source of everything in the universe, because their mind is filled with these things. Nantrashesh says money and sex can be connected to all the evils of this world. Yeah. The evil and the good, whatever it is, the whole world is running on sex. The first time I went to Hungary was during the Soviet days, when Hungary was under the communist rule. And I went there in plain clothes, and there were all sorts of precautions that we had to take to visit the devotees there. And having grown up in America, I thought that, there's KGB men everywhere and everybody's always looking at everybody and everybody's like frozen, but working because they have to. And I crossed over from Austria, if I remember, on the hydrofoil, and then we landed in Budapest. And there was and then the atmosphere was completely different from what I imagined. There was a customs agent, a lady customs agent, with a blouse with three buttons down, and there was and everybody was, going on. They're getting on the buses. They're going to work. They're doing this. They're doing that. Just like America, essentially. And my realization at this time was, well, if there's sex, then we carry on. If you take that away from us, then we plunge into gloom and like become catatonic. But as long as there's sex, we'll work. We'll put up with whatever it is we have to put up with, because this is what we're here for. As if there's this, well, we can tolerate. Kamo papoga paramai tavariti nishrita. That's also 16th chapter. Their goal of life is sense enjoyment, sex. Kama upapoga parama. This is the highest thing. And they'll dress it up. There's nothing more beautiful than love. Yavat kachit tvamabhale dishtya sandarshanam tava utsuno shik shamananan kanduka kridaya manaha. Whoever you may be, oh beautiful girl, we're fortunate in being able to see you. While playing with a ball, you've agitated the minds of all onlookers. Purport: demons arrange many kinds of performances to see the glaring beauty of a beautiful woman. Here it is stated that they saw the girl playing with a ball. Sometimes the demoniac arranged for so-called sports, like tennis, with the opposite sex. The purpose of such sporting is to see the bodily construction of the beautiful girl and enjoy a subtle sex mentality. This demoniac sex mentality of material enjoyment is sometimes encouraged by so-called yogis who encourage the public to enjoy sex life in different varieties, and at the same time advertise that if one meditates on a certain manufactured mantra, one can become God within 6 months. The public wants to be cheated, and Krishna therefore creates such cheaters to misrepresent and delude. These so-called yogis are actually enjoyers of the world, garbed as yogis. Bhagavad Gita, however, recommends that if one wants to enjoy life, then it cannot be with these gross senses. A patient is advised by the experienced physician to refrain from ordinary enjoyment while in the diseased condition. A diseased person cannot enjoy anything. He has to restrain his enjoyment in order to get rid of the disease. Similarly, our material condition is a diseased condition. If one wants to enjoy real sense enjoyment, then one must get free of the entanglement of material existence. In spiritual life, we can enjoy sense enjoyment which has no end. The difference between material and spiritual enjoyment is that material enjoyment is limited. Even if a man engages in material sex enjoyment, he cannot enjoy it for long. But when the sex enjoyment is given up, then one can enter spiritual life, which is unending. In the Bhagavatam 5.5.1, it is stated that Brahmasaukya, spiritual happiness, is ananta, unending. Foolish creatures are enamored by the beauty of matter and think that the enjoyment it offers is real. But actually, that is not real enjoyment. So here, Prabhupada's saying they want this immediate enjoyment, which is illusory. And they're missing the real enjoyment, which is substantial and eternal. It's also, Vishwanath comments that they imagined the ball of the setting sun to be a red ball that she's playing with. And here, Srila Prabhupada is, what shall we say? There's a word, missing the word. Anyway, but he's really getting to the substance of what they're about. You know, they want to see something sophisticated, ballet or tennis or whatever it is. They just want to see, they want to look at a woman's body and let their minds wander around in this demonic mode of thought. So tennis or ballet or anything, any excuse. My guess is that Rath Yatras these days, it's very fashionable. We have Bharatanatyam dancers. My speculation, my guess, is that the public doesn't derive, their thoughts don't turn toward Krishna by seeing our beautiful young girls dancing. Their minds don't turn toward Krishna. Okay. Anything else here? Yes.
Was any of that Bharatanatyam dancing going on when Prabhupada was present?
Was this Bharatanatyam dancing going on during Prabhupada's presence? Yes, but not at our Rath Yatras or at our temples. It wasn't part of our program.
Yeah, it seemed like a major thing about Rath Yatras. They always have that.
Yeah, they always have it now at Rath Yatras. I can recall, I'll recount my own experience. I was at the first Los Angeles Rath Yatra, which was hugely attended, and which it started, as it still starts today, down at Santa Monica Beach and makes its way down to Venice Beach. And the chariots were moving down the ocean side, and the devotees, this was sort of this was during Prabhupada's time, as I recall, or maybe it was a little after, but in any case, things were really rolling in ISKCON at that time. The Los Angeles temple was full of devotees, and everyone was in ecstasy. And the kirtan party was just moving down the beach, and then it gets to the destination, to the park. The chariots pull up, and the devotees leap onto the stage, and the kirtan is just going higher and higher and higher and higher. It's just like you can't imagine where it's going to go next. It just keeps getting better and better. And then after a few minutes, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming and joining us today. We have a wonderful program lined up for you. We have this and we have that, and we have this and we have that. Oh, man. We had the best thing, and we're cashing it in for a cultural program that will be that you'll certainly capture your attention and admiration. I think you'll have a wonderful time this afternoon. Oh, there was nothing better than the kirtan that was already going on. There's nothing better in the three worlds than Krishna kirtan. But then we have, Mrs. Patel's daughter is going to do a dance, and this person's going to do this, and someone will play kazoo, and whatever it is. And this comes, cultural program. Our culture ultimately is Harinam. And what do we get? We get like 3 hours, 4 hours, and we pay, we spend a fortune. And then we'll spend that time with a cultural performance and what have you, or a chunk of that time. So, of course, my opinion is not the only one in the world. Other people may have a different point of view, but I personally, I don't get it. What could be better to attract the public, to uplift the people present, than the transcendental sound of the Mahamantra? That would be my thought. Or transcendental substance. Prabhupada speaking about the meaning of Rath Yatra. Sometimes there's a drama which really gets across some point from Shastra. But just to have an incomprehensible cultural program, I won't grumble about it further. Kendra says, but before we get to a Kendra, Mukesh says, this propensity. Oh, what? Okay, before we get there. Anantashesh, well said, Maharaj. Nothing spiritual about these dances. I've always thought, but never was bold to say it in public. Well, there is a spiritual component to some of these dances. They are meant to tell, um, some of them Krishna's pastimes and so on. But you have to be sophisticated to understand it. There's a language to the hand gestures, a language to so many of the things that are done. And if you know the language, perhaps you might at least get it, even if still your mind is really on the beautiful young dancer. At least you might understand something about what's being conveyed. But for the unsophisticated Western audience, the spiritual content is next to nil, as far as I can see. Mukesh says, this propensity to watch the beauty of a woman or man, or beauty in general, is it because we're always looking for the all beautiful, and this quality comes to us from the Lord? Yeah, we want to see beauty. We do want to see beauty. And therefore the Mayavadis have a hard time because they've decided that they're not going to see beauty, or they've decided that ugliness and beauty, it's all equally illusory, but they have no higher beauty on which to fix their minds. So then the minds fall down again to material beauty. They have no higher beauty to see. But the devotees are attracted by the beauty of Krishna. These are opulences. We're attracted by wealth, we're attracted by beauty, we're attracted by knowledge, by fame, by strength, by detachment. But if we have no knowledge of spiritual beauty, spiritual wealth, spiritual detachment, then we become attracted to some material faint resemblance or faint display of beauty, of knowledge, of a professor, a brilliant scientist. We're attracted how brilliant this scientist is, because we don't know of higher wisdom. So we think the technician, the scientist is brilliant. Beauty also. Even, I mentioned this before, the denizens of the heavenly planets, they don't come to Earth to see the beautiful girls playing tennis. In the heavenly planets, if they saw the beautiful women of Earth, they'd kind of go, low-class, ugly women. The heavenly girls bathe in the celestial pools, and just the scent of their body makes the air fragrant for miles around. That's not, here you go to the pharmacy and you buy something, or the duty-free shop. Kendra says, the demons seem to have a general desire to enjoy everything, whether an imagined twilight form of a woman or whatever reminds me of a song lyric. You want to make love to the scene, as if that were possible. Yeah, they'll by speculation, anything becomes enjoyment. The drugs become enjoyable by speculation, by mental concoction. What happiness is there? But by mental concoction, wow, that was so great, we were so high. imagine that it was something. And people, all the foolish things people do, I remember as a child being taken to a football game. And first thing is, it's like in a cold season of the year, and you're sitting on these cold benches, and you're sitting there and you're watching, it was, like high school sports, you're watching these guys all like covered over with layers and layers of gladiator equipment. And they're just sitting around, and you're sitting there and nothing's going on. I mean, nothing. And then there's like 2 minutes of movement, and people go this way and people go that way, and a ball goes this way, and people all wind up in a heap on top of one another. And that's it. And then there's some more, nothing happening. And what is that? But by the mind, this somehow becomes a kind of enjoyment. And of course, to keep the whole thing going, you have the cheerleaders, these like pubescent girls with leotards and whatever, twirling. And and what Prabhupada says here is certainly germane to that. It's not team spirit and the glories of Dwight Morrow High School or the Maroon Raiders or anything like that. It's sex. Come on. But it's all somehow or other made respectable. And to be the leader of the cheerleading team, the head of the cheerleading team, there's a word for it, I forget, but it is like a great honor. And what? Just to, quite blatantly just agitating the eyes of the minds of men for sex enjoyment. So the whole world is all the happiness, that was a really great movie and all of that. It's like just agitated. That's their pleasure. You agitate the mind. And then the mind somehow or other gets a little something. And then you go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And by the modes of material nature, it appears to be enjoyable in the beginning. And at the end, it's like stupid, stale. Kendra says, I completely resonate with your feelings about kazoo recitals, especially since I've often played the role of the guy with the microphone and sometimes even a kazoo. Kirtan is king. Yes. Praveen says women from higher castes wouldn't dance in public. Prabhupada mentions that his mother wouldn't accept an invitation from next door, except if she went in a palanquin, covered with curtains and carried by however many men. You wouldn't see respectable women in public. Still in the Islamic countries, it's quite restricted. And that's taken as some sort of oppression. I remember I was in one of those Middle Eastern countries, and there the women are, there's at least in their public behavior, they're very restrained. You never see an Muslim woman walking alone in the street. She'll be with 2 or 3 companions with some children like that. Never just walking alone, and of course quite covered. I was at the airport coming in, and there was this Western woman, and it was like there was what, with like, yeah, she had boots. I mean, I don't remember that she was wearing much more than her boots, really. Everything else was like, I mean, she was really flagrantly provocative, sort of puts it mildly. She was really scantily dressed, and it's like, lady, where do you think you are? Where do you think you are? So the so there's so respectability is just not in the picture there, but the women who are restrained in their public presentation have respectability. That's, of course, just a material consideration, but as Praveen says, women from higher castes wouldn't dance in public. You wouldn't see them. In Jaipur, you can see, Amber, in Rajasthan, the palace, and you can see the rampart, I guess, from which the queen could see what was going on below, but they couldn't see her. She would be able to see everything going on. They wouldn't be able to see her. It wasn't so cheap. Then Gurudas says, Maharaj Prabhupada says in the purport, the public wants to be cheated, and Krishna therefore creates such cheaters to misrepresent and delude. Can one equate the desire to be cheated with lusty desires? I have to have something, even if it's false. I don't care. I'm throwing my better judgment to the winds. At this point, wisdom is just wasted energy. One can argue he doesn't even want to be cheated. He wants fulfillment, satisfaction, pleasure. But the pure devotees is saying, if you let your senses take over without higher intelligence, you want to be cheated, and you deserve what you get. At the same time, the devotee is working so hard so that people can see how not to be cheated. Yeah, the people want to be cheated means they want to enjoy sense gratification. And you promise them sense gratification, and they go for it. That's my understanding. They want to be. It's not that they'll say, I want to be cheated. It's not so gross as that. But I want sense gratification, so tell me a story. And you tell them a story, and they say, okay. A chicken in every pot, whatever it is that you're promising. And people go for it. They want to be cheated. They want to get pearls for $20. That means you want to be cheated, essentially. What do you think about, Tulsi Priya says, what do you think about choreographed Harinam parties? It bothers me a little because it seems like too much of a performance, and also like the advertising practice of using pretty girls to attract consumers to a product. Well, this is Srimad Bhagavatam class. It's not, Jayadvaita Swami's pulpit where he pronounces on everything that's going on. And I just don't want to do that. Even the Bharatanatyam performances, there may be something. It doesn't, I don't see it. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I'm not absolute, and this is not, Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't have anything directly to say about the topic. So I don't want to be presumptuous, and I certainly don't want to just use this as a pulpit for, and these fools are doing this, and these fools are doing that, and devotees should know better than this and that, and this is wrong and that's wrong. These things are devised by or arranged by experienced devotees, senior people who are trying to spread Krishna consciousness and having some success also. And just for me to sit here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and say they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, it's really not what I want to do. So I'll leave it to you to think what you want about it. I'm not going to get on the pulpit.
There was one Prabhupada quote where he's saying that if a lady is on the dance floor, she's already there, so she might as well dance with abandon. I don't know what was the point he was making. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Prabhupada, it's a Bengali proverb. I don't know the Bengali for it. But basically, if you've decided to dance, then don't be prissy about wearing a veil. No, I have to wear my veil. Come on, you already got on the stage to dance in front of all these people. Let's not be prudish about the veil. That's the substance of the proverb, as I remember. Now, Prabhupada doesn't use it to advocate looseness. The context in which it's used, as I recall, is that if you've embarked on an enterprise, then don't get hung up on the details, and don't get so ultra, what's the word, principled that you sacrifice the enterprise. You've already embarked on the enterprise, and we know every enterprise has some fault, every enterprise has some shortcoming. So don't start getting preoccupied with all the little niceties when you've already gone, decided to undertake this. If you've gone to war, don't start fretting over blood. I'm going to hurt people. Maybe I shouldn't, Arjun, really. How can I kill all of these friends? You've already decided to fight.
Let me add another little thing to this.
Mm-hmm.
Something, it's a consideration. There were women in Jagannath Puri called Devi Dasis, were dancing girls to dance before Lord Jagannath. And Ramananda Roy had the job of preparing them. And he would massage them, their limbs, and anoint them with fragrant oils and dress them all up. And it says that his self-control was so he was just not at all moved in any way, but it's because they were for the enjoyment of the Jagannath, But that's one thing that happened.
That it's mentioned about Ramananda Roy like that, and two things come to mind. One is Prabhupada explained that he was thinking of himself in the mood of an assistant gopi.
Yeah, he was a gopi. Yeah, that's right.
Who's preparing these other gopis for Krishna's enjoyment. And the other thing it's said is that Kaviraj Goswami says there's only one person who could do this, and that's Ramananda Roy, no one else. We shouldn't start thinking that we're on that level. And another point is that it was for Lord Jagannath. It wasn't a public performance.
That's right. It wasn't.
The audience was Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. They would see the dancing. Then it became a performance art. Actually, it wasn't a performance art at all. So to see dancing and so on, it wasn't performed in a theater or on a stage. Right. It was done for the pleasure of the Lord. But then, sort of among other things, the budget for maintaining the girls for the pleasure of the Lord wasn't there anymore, and you have to live some way, and whatever. But it sort of, and it's known that this evolved or devolved from a temple function to a performance art. I'm just going to look at the last couple comments because we have to wind up. We've reached the end of our time. Mukesh says there was more because of the Mughals. They were demonic. There's a system in India still prevalent where certain communities, women cover their faces. Yeah, I'm not tracing the origin of women wearing burqas and so on. Although Prabhupada in first canto mentions that the women who were seeing Krishna entering Dwarka saw him from the rooftops. They weren't mixing with the crowd. So that's a larger discussion, which we won't spend time on now. Kartikeya says, Mars, is it wrong to use the beauty that Krishna has given us as a way to attract and preach? I don't mean being over-sexual, but couldn't that be an example of yukta vairagya? It could be an example of yukta vairagya, but one should be very careful about how we use yukta vairagya. We should be very careful because the danger is it becomes more yukta than vairagya. Okay, we have reached the end of our time, and Tulsi Priya has her hand up, but the time really has come, and we are a little strict about these things. So who's leading kirtan this evening? I'll lead kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramanasa Paripad Vikacharya Shto Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Gangamai Ki Jai, Jamanamai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Hare Gaur. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Shara. Thank you, Doug. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Maharaj.
Haribol Gurudas. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, thank you.
Sounds like Mani Manjari. Hare Krishna.
It is.
Is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for
Hare Krishna,
being
Guru
here.
Maharaj.
And hopefully we can see you all again on Wednesday as we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam class. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayadvaita Maharaj ki jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Gaur.